welcome back to Montana Haven. Today I am doing a cooking show for you, and I will just do some voiceovers and just mostly have music playing because I want this to be a relaxing cooking show for you guys. And what I am doing today is making some healthy, moist banana bread and also some really delicious Alfredo pizza that I just love. So the recipe for this banana bread, it took some coconut oil and honey or maple syrup, and you could also just use olive oil, but I did have some coconut oil on hand and I used maple syrup to sweeten it, and I just thought it tasted so delicious and so moist. And then I ground some fresh spelt flour. So I had some of my own fresh spelt flour that I used, and that just added to the taste. So I baked these loaves for about 50 to 55 minutes, and they were just beautiful. Now it was a little bit hard to get them out of the tray because I believe mostly because of the chocolate chips. They kind of stuck on the bottom a little bit, but that didn't matter. It tasted just the same and it was so good. So I was finally done with the banana bread, and then I started on my pizza. And first I put my 2 pizza stones in the oven at 400 degrees to heat up. It had to be very hot because the pizza crust I used was my sourdough starter. That's all I use for my pizza crust, and so the pizza pans have to be hot. And while they were heating, I started cutting up my meat and my vegetables. Now this pizza recipe is actually a chicken Alfredo sourdough pizza recipe, but I used our venison and elk steak and just cut them up in strips, and that was so good. It tasted delicious like that. And so yeah, I was cutting up all the veggies. I cut up peppers and onions and mushrooms, and then later I sauteed them just lightly before I put them on the pizza. And now what I think makes this pizza so good too is the Alfredo sauce that I make, and also the cheese that I used. I use Parmesan cheese and extra sharp white cheddar cheese, and I thought that just really made the pizza taste so good. So here I am putting my fresh sourdough starter on these very hot pizza stones, and I just take my fingers and I just brush it all over the pizza stone with that sourdough. And it literally starts baking as I put it on. And that is all there is to it, to the crust. All that I do then is just sprinkle on some salt and pepper, some basil, and some Italian seasoning, and maybe some pizza seasoning over it. And then I bake it again for about 15 minutes before I put all of the rest of the stuff on it. And I will link all of these recipes down below for you. I got this from Farmhouse on Boone, and I just love it. It's such a good way to use up sourdough starter. Now, if you do not have sourdough starter to use, just make your own pizza crust recipe that you normally use. Oh yes, I forgot. First, before I put the seasonings over it, I will drizzle some olive oil over it and then just spread it around with my finger. And then after that, you will just place them back in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then you take them out and spread on all the rest of the stuff. Now, as the pizza crusts are in the oven, I start my Alfredo sauce. And first you just put a little butter in a saucepan on low heat, and then crush in some garlic and saute that until it's soft. And then you will add some heavy whipping cream and some cheddar cheese and some Parmesan cheese, and just let it melt together. And then after you have done that, you will want to use either an immersion blender and just blend it up, or I don't have that, so I just put it in my regular blender and just blended up the sauce, and it was so very nice and thick. And then I lightly sauteed all my vegetables and fried my steak on high so that I could just quickly fry it so that the juices would stay in the meat. And if anybody wants to know where I got this wooden salt and pepper bowl, I got it on Amazon. You just have to search for it and you'll find quite a few different ones. after everything is ready, you will put on the sauce and then you will sprinkle some more cheese on top of that. This pizza is very cheesy, and that's probably one reason why we love it. And then you put on the vegetables and the meat. And then what we love as a family is some pineapple chunks on it. Now, I know some people don't like that, but we love the pineapple flavor on our pizza, probably because it gives kind of a sweet and sour taste to our savory pizza. And then last, we just sprinkle on a little bit of more cheese and stick it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes, and you are good to go. Now that the pizza was almost ready, I cut my banana bread, and man, it smelled good. And we ate it with cold goat's milk, just like we usually do when we eat cake.
You're great and God, you're good, and we thank you for our food. By your hands we all are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
This Alfredo pizza has become a hit in our family, and I make it quite a lot because it's so simple to make the crust with my sourdough starter. And sometimes I make it with chicken, sometimes I make it with steak like this, and sometimes I just use burger or sausage, and it's just incredible. We love it so much. Also, the banana bread was awesome. We all loved it with our cold goat's milk. And again, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys all on the next video. God bless every one of you.